So I just finished the Into the Bit game, and I thought it was really fun. By really fun, I mean really scary. The cool thing about it is that I actually own the book, and I wanted to see if the game held up story-wise, or even if they got the game accurate to the story at all. But here's a full comparison between the book and the game. So to start, the book and game start their stories at different points, with the game starting earlier than the book. The game starts with Oswald and his dad driving to Jeff's Pizza and them talking about how they've been doing this all summer, where Oswald's dad drops him off at Jeff's with a couple of bucks for lunch and dinner, and then he goes to work. This has been happening all summer with Oswald wanting school to start back up so he doesn't have to sit at the pizza shack all day. The story really kicks off when Oswald gets enough of his dad and decides that he's going to hide in a ball pit in the back of the pizza place to punish his dad for leaving him there every day. Now this is where the first difference arrives, because in the book, we see him go to the pizza place a couple of times before he hides in the ball pit, but in the game, the first time we go to the pizza place is the same time he hides in the pit. This makes sense though, because you're playing a horror game, not a kid sit-in game, so I guess they speedrun through the beginning section so you don't have to be unbearably bored by the character development. But in the book it makes sense because they want to, have an actual story and have it flow better than have just making a horror game. Next in the story though is after going into the ball pit, Oswald discovers that it takes him to the same pizzeria but in 1985, where it's brimming with life and full of happy kids. It's essentially a time traveling ball pit. He meets two kids there, Chip and Mike, and they hang out a ton, playing arcade games and really just having a blast. From here on, he's excited to go to the ball pit because he gets to hang out with his new friends in 1985. But one day, something happens. He went into the ball pit this time, but things were different. What was once a joyful atmosphere is now full of terror, kids running for their lives away from something. Oswald's concerned for his friends, and he goes into the crowd where he finds a yellow rabbit. This rabbit beckons him to come close, as if he wants to show him something. He follows the rabbit, but as he approaches, he realizes that the rabbit was leading him to a lifeless pile of kids. Scared for his life, Oswald runs to the pit with the rabbit close behind. He makes it and comes out the other end in the present day with his dad waiting for him. But the rabbit pulls his dad in, and in an instant, the rabbit jumps back out of the pit and just his bow tie a little bit before grabbing Oswald's arm and dragging him out of the pizza place. The bunny somehow knows the way to Oswald's home, obviously, and also knows how to drive a car. But when they get home, Oswald screams at the bunny, telling him that when Mom gets home, she's gonna call the police. So he runs to his room and calls his mom, with his mom not responding, and Oswald leaving a voicemail, which is pretty scary. Eventually, his mom does text back and rushes home, only for her to see nothing wrong, apparently. Looking at the bunny, she saw only his dad, but Oswald saw a bright yellow bunny. The bunny had seemingly replaced his dad. Alright, now let's slow down a little bit. Now that we got the premise of the game out of the way, let's see some of the differences. Now, Oswald goes to the ball pit for the first time in the game, the event with all the kids starting running away, happening on his first visit in 1985. But in the book, it's like his fourth visit or so, as well as when he calls his mom. It isn't as simple as him using his phone because he doesn't have one in the game. So in the game, it's kind of your first mission to steal your dad's phone and call Mom from there. Both changes make sense because it pushes up the horror aspect to earlier in the game, and also extends many moments in the book to full-on missions like the stealing dad's phone. Instead of just calling from his own phone to his mom, he instead has to steal his dad's. Now, from this point, we're more than halfway through the book, but the game is just getting started because they extended the game to 5 nights, hence the title, Five Nights at Freddy's. The game repeats escaping the house and then trying to find your dad in 1985, doing this for 5 nights in a row, while in the book, Oswald literally finds his dad on the next night. Yeah, if they didn't extend the horror aspect, this wouldn't be much of a game now, would it? But the ending for both is exactly the same, except for the fact that there are 3 endings to the game, but obviously only 1 ending to the book. Now for the first ending, he gets his dad out of the 1985 and through the pit, but the yellow rabbit captures him, and that's the last we see of Oswald. That's literally it. But in the second ending, he fights the rabbit a bit and gets tangled up in the ball pit, and the bunny ends up suffocating to death. This is the canon ending to the book, And for the third ending, it's the same as the second, but with some extra dialogue. So I didn't bother getting it, so I don't have footage of it. But after all that's said and done, and he kills the bunny, Oswald ends up lying and says that he went and hid in the ball pit, and his dad fell in and hit his head pretty hard. Yeah, if I were Oswald, I would have lied too. Because who is gonna believe me when I say, yeah, I went back in time and there was this yellow rabbit who captured and replaced you and looked like you to everyone else for 5 days. Then I found the real you in 1985, which is where the ball pit takes us. And then I beat up the yellow rabbit. Well, it actually suffocated to death. And then I beat you from who's gonna believe that? Like literally, actually, I have no idea who would believe him. Like that kid would go to an insane asylum. Like he would never be seen again. Like he would be. Oh my goodness. Anyways. But yeah, TW, the game has an abbreviated story with extended horror elements and more puzzles, and that's basically the differences. That's all. I guess I'll see you guys later. Please subscribe, because otherwise you're going to lose me and say YouTube. And you did make it to the end of the video. YouTube likes that, and apparently I guess you enjoyed my video because you stayed so long. So hit the sub button, and if you have any more questions on the book, like the differences between the book and the game, comment below. I read all the comments. I have 5 subscribers. No one watches these videos, but if you made it to the end, you're one of my watchers, so you might as well subscribe, But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys later.